Okay, this summer is the centennial of the beginning of World War I. In this story, there's so many angles and avenues. I can't get into it all. We can't wrap our heads around it in 5 minutes. I'm not going to try. But I do want to talk about the way that life on Earth was changed forever that summer. And that summer is 1914. It begins with an act of terrorism. The new ruler of Austria-Hungary, Franz Ferdinand, was assassinated. Very much like JFK was assassinated. It was in a parade, in the middle of daylight, in an open car, next to his wife. There he is right there. Okay, and this sent panic throughout Austria-Hungary, and also through their closest ally, which was Germany. Now, Germany was a young country. At this time, it was only 40 years old. It's hard to believe. So, the way humans are, they want to know whose fault it was. This was him moments before he was assassinated. So they wanted to know whose fault it was. If it were today, they would have asked the question, was it state-sponsored terrorism? Specifically, was Russia involved? Did Russia pull the strings? Just imagine what this country would have done if we would have found out that Moscow had been behind the JFK assassination. What that would have done to American history, where we would have gone from there. Okay, so a complex of alliances in Germany start to fall. Troops start to mobilize, and once we start to mobilize, it's really hard to put the pin back in the grenade. The people on the ground had no idea what was going to happen. They still had romantic notions about war, but this was what war was really becoming. It was becoming a military-industrial complex. Okay, so this is how the modern warfare was created, actually in the French Revolution. This was the first time that you had people in arms. You actually gave the population weapons. This had never been done before the French Revolution. And then Napoleon took it to the next level. Before that, you had professional armies, professional soldiers. Just to give you an example, the Roman army in their height to protect the whole empire was only 500,000 troops at their height. Genghis Khan took over Europe with 30,000 troops on horseback. That's the difference in scale. Now we're talking about armies in the millions because we're conscripting the people. We're giving the people weapons. Lives are becoming cheap. These are World War I German gunners. They look about 15 to me. The second part to the modern war machine, besides the people, is the industry. Basically, modern industrial principles applied to warfare. And why? To make it more deadly, because you had more people to kill. So technology had always been an important part of war, but now it was the crucial defining part of war. It was the crucial factor. This was the beginning of the arms race, literally. So the first month of fighting, we learned very hard lessons. These were the French troops on their way to World War I. Red caps? Seriously, they didn't even wear helmets until the second year. They had no idea what they were getting themselves into. Okay, wear a helmet, for damn sake. Like this. And if you fall behind, a lesson that they were learning, if you fall behind in technology, it's better not even to fight. Also, defenses can no longer be based on forts. We now have guns like this that can shoot shells up to 80 miles. No wall on Earth can withstand that. And that wasn't true just a few decades before that. Think of like the Civil War cannons. Another lesson, cavalry charge, not a good idea. We're talking machine guns now. This was the very first conflict where powers went up against each other with machine guns. It had never been done before. So General Sherman famously once said, war is hell. But I don't think it was until this conflict broke out 100 years ago that people really understood the enormity of that. I mean, the first couple battles of World War I, there were battles where 60,000 people were killed in a single day. They were totally not prepared for it. Okay, so the age of terrorism. Leaders in our country now, ever since 9/11, are really fond of saying, we live in the age of terrorism. But I think that there's a good argument to be made that we've been living in the age of terrorism now for over 100 years. And that's it.